I think these are such good pieces of advice. And for me, at least personally, I think now that I'm reading a lot of, books on, okay, how do you really take that step, or like, these 5 seconds of boldness, or, how do you progress with still being introverted and shy and things like that. But I mean, how did it go for you? Did you have this as you were growing up as well, or was it more that, this was something you built up upon over time as well?
It was absolutely something I built up over time. I was a very shy kid. I mean, when I was little, I was like painfully shy. And I remember, my parents put me into taekwondo classes just to like help build up my confidence a little bit. And then, I was in a couple of like speech competitions and that helped a little bit. But I was a very introverted, sort of shy, awkward kid for a long time. And really, it took me until truly until college to really sort of find my niche and find my confidence and sort of get better at that. But I went and tried to get specific training in. And so, I think, one of the best decisions I made in graduate school was that I went to work with the oral communication department at Stanford. And so I became a tutor for the oral communication department, which for me meant that not only was I able to get a lot of training because I was able to go to a lot of workshops in oral communication and get a lot of practice in doing that myself, but also I was able to see how other people were presenting and give them feedback and really spend up to 8 hours a week thinking about communication. I think that when people ask me, how do I get more confident in speaking? How do I get more confident in camera? It is practice. You just have to do it and you have to take opportunities to put yourself into those situations. You have to raise your hand in class. You have to volunteer for these things over and over to get that experience. I would set little goals for myself sometimes too. So at conferences, I will often set myself a goal that I have to ask 3 questions, or I have to raise my hand at least once, or I have to do this because that forces me to get practice doing it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
I sometimes see it as a kind of a treasure hunt where I would have never known what is behind this door. So it's interesting to at least open the door to see what lies
Yes.
inside, in
I
a
love
way.
that. I love that way of looking at it.
And I mean, when I go to networking events, I actually try not to take anybody with me,
Mm.
because otherwise, if I know even one person, I'll be glued to them for the
Yep.
entire time.